Morning folks, I haven't had time to do one of these for a while, so you join me on a very miserable wet morning in very wet Welsh Wales. I'm up here doing some work in a little cottage. That makes it sound like I'm doing DIY. I'm not doing DIY, I'm doing a bunch of admin stuff. Having a little bit of a break from the norm, just to kind of change my environment up a little bit. And my plan was to get lots of riding done. I was going to basically this was going to be the beginning of my winter training regime. It was going to be, maybe work 3 days a week, ride a couple of days a week, and then basically focus on the winter fitness, which is something which I frankly am really bad at staying on top of, even though I ought to. Hasn't worked out that way. It's basically been raining non-stop. It's mid-December and it's really mild. I don't know what's going on. It's 12 degrees all the time and chucking it down. Quite often when you come up here at this time of the year, you get nice kind of crisp, clear days. Bit frustrating really. But nonetheless, here we go. So we're off to the original, to Coed Y Brenin. Not sure what I'm going to ride yet. I'll see when I get there. In my mind's eye, I was thinking of trying to do the Beast, which is the biggest one, which is about 40k. Which, if you're really old like me, you'll remember being kind of called the Carrymore Trail when it opened, and it was that was an almost entirely different route, apart from one or two sections which are still the same. But the big one was always the Carrymore. Then Carrymore went basically bust, so it's not called that anymore. So anyway, we're going to poodle on down there. The good news is I've just driven over the top of a hill and I can see actual blueness, and I can see white clouds instead of black ones. So that's a turn up for the books. And I'm heading down towards a town called Coed, which I'm going to pass through on my way there. And in Coed there's a very nice farm shop at the Rug Farm estate, and I'm going to stop off because bizarrely, although it's the middle of frickin' nowhere, they do drive-through coffee. Right. Oh, and we are at the coffee. Oh yeah. So let's hope the damn place is open, because I'm going to be very upset if it isn't.
Left turn ahead, A494 towards Ballard.
Sorry, my dash bitch is talking to me. She wants me to go towards Ballard, wherever Ballard is. That sounds like it could be in Spain, maybe. So, we're into the drive-through. So, what should we get ourselves? Should we get ourselves a latte? I suspect that's going to be the one. Let's see what happens. Morning. Can I have a large latte, please?
Yes,
So far, so good.
cheers.
The good thing is that actually I've stopped here before. Stopped here the other day on my way down to Llangollen, and I'm happy to report that actually the coffee in the Rug Estate drive-through is cracking. So, as a total coffee snob, you will appreciate how much it takes to get a positive review out of me about a cup of coffee. Anyone who has been on a holiday and has had the good fortune to be guided by me in person will know for a fact that coffee is an obsession for me. And I can be allegedly slightly snobby, maybe. Yes, it's possible that I could be accused of being a coffee snob. But yes, the Rug Estate drive-through just outside Coed in North Wales, highly recommended for caffeine addicts. So what else has been going on? Well, the other reason you've not heard from me for a bit is because actually the end of our season, basically I come back to the UK in early October, and basically I've just been I will have been working every day of the week for the previous 5 months, so I try to get a little bit of a rest, but unfortunately it doesn't really happen these days because we're so busy. So I tend to come back, then I'm getting the new prices and dates online, which are all on the website. And there's always a lot of work on the next season's sort of, the pricing obviously doesn't just kind of get magicked out of thin air. It's a process of interacting with a lot of other people and suppliers and hotels, and there's a lot of people who are involved in the chain of putting together our pricing. So that takes me a fair old while. So that's now all up and live. So after that you think, oh, okay, so now's the time to put your feet up and have a bit of a chill. But unfortunately that doesn't happen, because what then happens is my end of financial year for Singletrack Safari is actually the 1st of December. So what I then spend quite a lot of November doing is effectively accounts prep. And it is the most god-awful, miserable, shitey thing I have to do in the whole year. I hate doing it, it takes me forever. I had to go through and enter all of our receipts into an online accounting system, and it takes forever. It's very, very long-winded. Suffice to say, that's now done. I actually am having my accounts, my accountants are sending a courier to collect the information that I've prepped for them tomorrow. So that's now done and dusted. So the next stage is we've got some plans in the work for something quite significant for next year, which I can't talk about at the moment. But it's a bit of a back to the future kind of situation, so we'll see how that pans out. That's going to take quite a bit of work, and that is my next major task, alongside a bunch of updates on the website I need to get done. And we've got bookings flooding in. We've got weeks that are sold out already for next year. We're currently on, 2017, no, 2017 was last year. Well, let's start 2017, I meant to say that. Yes, 2017 was a very strong year for us. It was the best year we'd ever had. So we've been operating since 2010. 2010 was our first summer. So we launched over that winter. And that means that this summer, the summer ahead, 2019, is actually our 10th season. So it's our 10th year in Andorra, it's our 10th year of running, and there are plans afoot to try to make that a bit special as well. That's another job I've got to do. That's probably another high priority one that I've got to focus on. So that's another one that's on the must-do list. Sorry, I've got some old person doing a 57-point turn in the middle of the high street of Bala, or Bala, as my Tom likes to call it. So yeah, so bookings are looking really strong. We're going to be really busy again, and it's year 10, and the plan is to hopefully have something to celebrate our 10th year as a way of something as a little bit of encouragement. We'll see whether I can get that pulled off in the near future. So yeah, so things are busy. Now, this means that this is the first period of the year where I've had 2 minutes to breathe since the beginning of the season in May. So that's why I'm now up here in North Wales, just to have a little bit of personal space. There's actually some people out there who I'm due to be, I've already done a little bit of this winter, but we do a little bit of coaching. If you want some coaching in the winter, I do a bit of one-on-one coaching with people. And I've already been up and done a little bit of that a few weeks ago, and I've got some more of it in a few weeks' time as well. But yeah, there's a couple of people out there who have sort of been asking for sort of coaching sort of in this sort of December period, and really it's really hard for me to do, so I'm really sorry guys. It's really hard for me to find that that space, not so much because I don't have the time, but because I just need a little bit of me time, quality me time, you know. It gets very, very difficult and tiring just kind of being in guide performance mode. And what I mean by that is that when you're a guide, you're not, you're obviously, you are being yourself, but there's a certain degree of performance. You have to put yourself out there as the guide, and portray the role correctly. So it's nice to just actually do some stuff kind of where I'm just like having a bit of a chill, go and do some riding hopefully. I rode a few weeks ago actually up here with a group of guests from earlier this summer and some of their mates. We went out and did a locals route around Betis y Coed, and that was fantastic. Got soaking wet that day as well. Fell on my face in a bog. Yeah, thanks for that. You know who you are, who encouraged me into that. I shot some like chest cam, helmet cam footage this summer, which I haven't done for a long time actually. And there's people out there who've emailed me a few times. I apologise, asking when I'm going to get some of this stuff up online. And the problem is, I just end up with so much of the damn stuff, and it takes days to go through it, that finding editing time is just nigh on impossible. So shooting these sorts of things and talking to you guys like this is fairly straightforward, because I can shoot it and I can even edit it in my phone if I just shoot it all in my phone. I don't have to kind of roll out the editing suite and fire up my steam-powered shitty fucking, pardon my French. Sorry, that was a Lenovo-induced swear. Don't ever buy a Lenovo computer. Mine has fallen apart and has had to be repaired so many times in the last year and a half that I'm basically on the verge of putting the damn thing in the bin because it's so terrible. That was an aside. Mini review. Actually, I shot some blog stuff this summer around some of the GoPro footage that I shot as well. So there's actually some really cool stuff that I'd like to show you guys. A couple of days where we're having some fun times around Val Nord, where things don't go according to plan, which is another reason why those videos haven't yet got edited, is because they ended up being a bit of a handful to kind of work out how best to portray those days without you thinking we're trying to kill everybody. We didn't kill anybody. Scout's honour, we didn't kill anybody. Just roughed them up a little bit. Sorry. Quick update on the coffee review, by the way. Coffee, as anyone knows, if you drink white coffee, as I say anyone knows, that means not anyone knows what we're talking about. I'm talking absolute guff. As those of us that are complete coffee obsessives know, lattes, cappuccinos, those sorts of things, the quality of your cup of coffee is dictated partly not only by the bean and the grind and the quality of the crema, which is created by the barista. A lot of the flavour is determined by the milk. If you overheat the milk, you burn the natural sugars that occur in that milk, and it ends up tasting bitter. And I am afraid to say, Rug Farm Estate, that today your server has given me very, very hot milk, and it tastes very bitter. So it's good coffee, but you've got to have that. You've got to have someone who knows what they're doing with their milk frother. I'm also going to maybe experiment with something else. Oh my god, there's actual sunshine! Hold the presses, what the chuffing hell is going on? Oh my god! And now we're back out of the sunshine and back into the shade, and life is going to become increasingly miserable. This is good. There's actually sunshine. There's a patch of it right here on my Fizzog. Right, signing off. I might experiment at some point over the next few days with doing a live ramble vlog, because as you can see, I just basically frickin' talk at the camera for, how long is that? 15 minutes and 39 seconds? Who the hell is going to watch this rubbish? Right, I'm going to sign off, and I'm not going to talk to you again until I get to Coed Y Brenin. So there we go, first climb, first descent out of the way. So I am actually riding in the rain. It's actually raining right now, which kind of sucks. However, at least it wasn't raining when I left the van, because that really sucks. I don't know about you, but I hate starting a ride when it's already raining. So, I'm going to stick my cover on my EVO, I think. New pack. So, yeah, it's just started a firm drizzle. There's still sunlight in the trees. It's quite strange today. I've got lots of new kit reviews to bring you at some point, including this 661 MiPS lid that I'm wearing, which is comfy so far. And obviously I'm wearing quite a lot of new ion stuff. However, one thing I will update you on are these. Do you remember these? So yeah, these. They've been phenomenal. I really, really love them. They're possibly my favourite knee pads ever. They are simply the most comfortable thing I've ever worn. They don't move. You forget they're on there, unless it's very hot, in which case I do find them a little bit warmer than some other pads I've used. However, they've worn really, really well, but this is a new set. So I've had these warranted because, ridiculously, the problem I had was, do you remember me discussing there's a little zip garage here with a little bit of Velcro that holds the zip in place to stop it from rattling? But what happened was all of the male side of the Velcro just fell off. So there was this little bit of material flapping around. So sent them back, warranted, new pair. Let's see if this set do it. Hopefully not. The 661 lid I'm wearing, I picked up in a sale. They seem to be around a lot at the moment. They're still a very popular helmet. They're still available at full price in lots of places, but this one was reduced. So I thought, let's give it a go. I get through quite a lot of helmets actually, which sounds like a strange thing to say, but I wear helmets a lot. And I fall on my head a lot. So this is my first ride out in this one. My first impressions are climbing in it. It's a touch on the warm side. I can feel this area in particular at the front, where the vents actually sit quite high. I can feel my head heating up straight away. So I'm not quite sure what it's going to fare like in sort of warmer climates. Just have to wait and see, I suppose. But it's comfy, it looks pretty cool, it's got MiPS, and I think it cost like 50 quid with a MiPS system in it, so I wasn't going to complain. It's normally retails for about 110 or something, I think. It was a good offer. So I picked it up, along with lots of new ion gear, which I'm really liking my ion stuff these days. I've been wearing it for a couple of seasons, ion. Ion, if you're listening, I really want to wear your stuff, and I want our guys to wear your stuff, so if you want to send us some stuff, I know that's appalling, isn't it? But hey, it doesn't hurt, does it? If you don't ask, you don't get. Anyway, yeah. So I've got a big bunch of ion stuff that I've just picked up. Got, I think, 3 sets of enduro shorts, all basically this model, which is a scrub amp, which is sort of their proper enduro racing range. Very cool. A little bit on the pricey side, but it's good gear. This is the matching, my bike just fell over. This is the matching jacket that goes with it, and underneath I'm also rocking the matching jersey as well. Ion stuff looks cool, and it's kind of casual looking, but super functional, which is why I like it. So it's not sort of intimidating enduro arsehole style. It's more like I actually go and ride my bike, and I like having fun, and I just want to wear something that's practical but nice looking. Quite like that. They don't really do any gloves that are very winter. So today I'm wearing some 100% gloves, which are also new today. They won't stay white for long, will they? So I'm looking super colour coordinated today, aren't I? Looking rather dapper. Yes. So yeah. First ride out in all of this gear, so I'll give you a riding report on how these things are faring. The helmet I'll probably do a bit of report on when I get back to the car park and tell you how it is. I think my plan is that I'm actually going to stitch some bits together from some different routes. So I'm kind of cutting through on the Minotaur trail at the moment. I've used the start of the rocky, horrible, miserable start at Coed Y Brenin from the visitor centre. Was very wet and slippery this morning, so I came along there, dropped onto the Minotaur. I'm going round towards the waterfalls, which are out in this direction, and then you can cut across and pick up the MBR part way around and use that to kind of climb outwards, or I could cross the river down here and pick up the Dragon's Back possibly as well. That's another one I could do. So when you know where these things all kind of crisscross with each other, you can kind of stitch your own routes together here. It's quite cool. Anyway, right, time to get on. Just stop for another quick break because despite what I was just saying about, oh look, they're still doing lots of work and improving things, I found something that's worrying me a bit. Now, just up behind me here, this is the exit of a great little section of trail here. It's one of the last remaining bits of trail centre stuff in this country that really feels like an actual trail. This stuff through here that they've got here, look at it, it's beautiful. It's proper single track, and it doesn't feel overly trail centre. You can tell it's manufactured, but it kind of feels natural at the same time. Over the last 10 years, let's say, there's been a process of what I call dumb grading. And what I mean by that is they assume that they have to appeal to the lowest common denominator in terms of ability. And what they do is they make changes to trails. There's a couple of sections in here that used to be a lot more natural than they are. And fine, I could understand why those got changed, because they were probably kind of erosion areas. Used to be quite steep and muddy in places, whereas now obviously it's compacted rock and gravel, which is obviously a lot more sustainable. That's fine, I get that. But that trail over there hasn't changed in all the time I've been riding it. It's been perfect, it's been in really good condition. Admittedly, I'm sure they work on it, thank you guys for doing that. But next to it, there's a new section which they're working on, just behind this fence. And it is, as you can see, like a gravelly snake through the forest. Admittedly, these things bed in and things change over time, but that worries me because it's sitting next to a freaking great piece of trail. Now, I am hoping in my heart that both of these trails will be in use, but there's a strong suspicion that I have here that what's going to happen is this one is going to replace that one. And I don't want that to happen because that's so good. These sections of trail over in this side of the forest that you actually come down on towards the end of things like the MBR trail, those are fantastic. They're part of why I come here. That natural feeling stuff that Coed Y Brenin is well known for. And I think a lot of people that come here on a regular basis would probably say the same thing, that they come here because they're trying to get away from that kind of cookie cutter, bench cut single track feel that you get at a lot of places. Unfortunately, what I've got over my shoulder is cookie cut, bench cut single track with berms and stuff in it, which goes against, personally for me, goes against what Coed Y Brenin feels like. It's not what that's not what this feels like. The only bit of, for example, the MBR trail I can't stand is the bike parky bit, where it suddenly turns into like quite a wide, tabletop-y, heavily bermed section. Just doesn't fit in with the rest of the trail. It's the same at Better the new section they stuck in there, which feels like a bike park. Guys, you don't have to make everything feel like a bike park for people to want to come and ride it. In fact, to be honest with you, I'm sure there's way more people would rather ride something kind of challenging than something that's, you know, a gravelly motorway like behind me. So I will withhold judgment. Every day is Christmas Day, right? So we'll see what they do with it, but it just upsets me when I see the possibility of losing a great section of trail for no reason other than trying to make it more accessible, in inverted commas. People have to develop, and if you haven't got the trails to develop on, if all you're ever going to ride is fairly straightforward, flowing, gravelly trails, people are never going to get an opportunity to improve their abilities and their skills and their confidence, because nothing's ever going to take them out of their comfort zone a little bit and make them ride something like that trail over there is, which is natural and narrow and requires steering input and some thought and reading the trail ahead, rather than just, I don't know, holding on and pointing in vaguely the right direction, which is what that kind of is to me. Maybe it's just because it's raining and I'm a grumpy old man, but I'm really worried about next time I come back. It's all well and good having a diversion, but I've got to say it'd be nice to have some information about where it's actually going to, because they're cutting out the pink Heifer and another section that I forgot the name of, two of which, well, pink Heifer's got some pretty good bits in it, but it's a little bit pedally. I think it's Big Doug, the other bit, which is the section that follows the side of the road, kind of over in that direction, over there somewhere, which does have some really good bits in it. So there's a diversion, which is fine. It's kind of single track, it's okay. Looks like it's going to get a little bit tougher around the corner over there, possibly. I don't know. But what I'd like to know really is where it's going to bring me out. And when I've been at other trail centres where they're putting in diversions, they tend to put in a map so you can see what where the diversion actually takes you. Because I've seen people on this trail today turning around. In fact, as they've now disappeared, there was two very cross-country guys behind me just now as I came up the main climb towards the Pink Heifer, and they were kind of right on my tail, and they got to the diversion sign at the top, took one look at it, turned around and went back. I passed two other people coming back down as well, which was a little bit weird. Clearly that means out of the, let's just say, the 5 of us that came up here, 80% of the people who come up this diversion have given up on it, which is a bit worrying, isn't it? So that does maybe say something about the fact that if you stick a map in, people might follow your diversion. That was hard. That's a very tough bit of trail. Funnily enough, after my complaining about where I'd come out, I know exactly where I am. It's a trail I've always looked at and thought, I wonder where that goes to. It goes in that direction. There's a couple of other people behind me now. So it's cut out quite a big chunk. Let's see what happens next. Right, we're at the top of the mountain. This is the highest point here, really. And the sun's actually trying to come out again at the moment, which is a refreshing change. Actually, I've not got really particularly wet. I'm not even particularly dirty, which is a bit miraculous, really. But I love it up here. This is my favourite spot here at Coed Y Brenin. You get to the top of the Dragon's Back, so it's a bit of a big climb to get up here. It takes about, well, you come down False Teeth down to where the cafe is, down the valley here. And it takes, I don't know, it's not a massive climb, just because it's part way around the big route. It always feels worse than it actually is. I guess it's about half an hour, but anyway, I'm up at the top, which leaves, you kind of head down this way, and you get into some really cool sections of Singletrack. That's the area that used to be super, super amazingly natural, but these days isn't. But that's an area that, like I said, it was like a mudslide at one point back in the old days. So yeah, so it's actually turning into an okay day. So I've really got a lot to complain about in terms of weather, which is nice. Wind's getting up a little bit, as you can hear. So yeah, I'm going to head on back down, get back to the visitor centre and get some soup. So back in the van, on my way home, driving down through the valley back down towards Dolgethlau. Bunch of scabby mountain bikers in that car park who are trying to avoid paying the £5 it costs to park for the day at Coed Y Brenin, which is tight as whatever. I mean, for God's sake, like, there's a massive trail network that costs a lot of money to maintain. Really, is it that hard to pay £5 to use it? Really? I mean, God, there was like 5 of them in a vehicle and they're avoiding paying the £5. Really? Speaking of which, yeah, they've got a new system, a number plate recognition system when you go in and out now. You just pay at the end, just go and stick your registration into a machine and it tells you how much to pay. So a bit easier than it used to be. It takes cards as well. I suspect they're going to get people forgetting to pay, like I just did. I had to turn around and go back and do it again. So I had a good day on the trails, and bizarrely was, for some reason, even though it was very wet and slippery, I'm not too muddy and wet actually, I'm a little bit muddy and wet, but not too muddy and wet. The trails were absolutely streaming, because last night it was heavy rain all night, and it's been very heavy showers today, to the extent that a couple of times I had to take shelter in the trees and stuff because it was raining so hard. However, it was one of those days, you know when you have a day where you feel really on it? It was one of those, which was nice, because the last time I rode in the wet, which again was here in North Wales actually, I couldn't ride for crap. I was all over the shop last time, and I had quite a big crash actually last time I was out riding, which I didn't really tell anyone else in the group about at the time, but I did hurt myself a bit. My elbow isn't quite right. Anyway, so that was about a month ago, and now, yeah, today, back in the wet today, just, yeah, on it for some reason. It was really nice, so that was cool. Trails were riding nicely, actually quite grippy today. There's one section in there which I can never remember what it's called. It's one of the Adams family bits. I can't remember the name of it, which is basically just loads of rock slabs all stuck together for about a kilometre. Even that wasn't too slippery today, so that was quite cool. And yeah, had my suit, had a bit of a browse around the bike shop, and yeah, now I'm going to drive back and sort myself out. But it's been a good day out. The helmet, I'll probably do a separate vlog about it, but just a quick overview. I would say it's fine, but I wouldn't say it was any more than fine, considering it's not a cheap helmet in that version of it with MiPS in it. It's fine. I know that's damning it with faint praise, but I can't think of anything more to say about it. It's comfortable. It's got a good retention system, to be fair. I would say that the BOA retention system it's got is really nice quality, and that does make it somewhat more comfortable. But I don't think the ventilation is anywhere near on a par with something like a Gyro Montaro, which would be their equivalent helmet, which is the helmet I've just come from, or one of the helmets I've just come from. Yeah, I mean, with the gyro, you can feel the air. If you stood by the side of the trail and there's a light breeze, you can feel it going through the helmet. With that helmet on, you don't get that sensation of cooling at all times. It has to be moving to get any air moving through it. And yeah, okay, fair enough, you are mostly going to be moving, but it just means that there is less air getting into it. And even today, I mean, it's not a cold day, it's 11, 12 degrees today. Going up a couple of the climbs, I was getting a bit of a sweat on. So it's not the coolest, best ventilated helmet I've ever used. I'd say there's a couple of issues with things like the straps. I'm not entirely sold on the way that the straps are mounted on the helmet. But yeah, the retention system is good. It got a very good quality, solid feel about it as well. But yeah, I'll probably do a few more rides with it and then give you a proper overview of what's what with it. But for now, that is my my day in the woods complete. Didn't get a lot of shots of riding today because it kept pedaling down all the time. Haven't brought my GoPro, but it was I didn't want to kind of stick the camera out on the tripod at the side of the trail because you can hear it raining now. Probably it's absolutely caning down, and that's been happening every like 20 minutes or so. There's been like a massively heavy shower. So on that final rainy note, I will sign off for the moment and I will catch you guys next time. See you later.